Hello and welcome to Confused Reviews, where cartoon drawing reviews movies, and a few years ago I reviewed two movies about a boy named Andy and his mischievous toys.
You're my favorite deputy.
You got a friend in me.
No, I already made that joke last time. I'm talking about Child's Play. This simple 1988 smash hit reinvented what it meant to be afraid of a child's plaything, and managed to make a 2-foot doll stand up to the likes of Freddy and Jason as the best slasher. And the sequel, released 2 years later, continued Chucky's reign of terror and is, in my opinion, the best of the series. But that leads us to the third film, known as the black sheep of the franchise and still an oddity all these years later, Child's Play 3. Now, to me, the movie is...
Hey!
Ah, Cecil, what are you doing here?
Talking about Child's Play 3, huh?
I was getting to it.
Somebody say Child's Play 3?
Yeah, Luke's doing it.
Cool.
Oh.
Well, I've got a lot to say about this one, Luke. You mind if I tag along?
Yeah, sure, but why this movie of all things?
Well, it was the first horror movie I ever saw in the theater.
At my 10th birthday party.
Plus, it's,
Completely fucking bizarre.
Oh, alright then, let's get started.
But first, I gotta get down to your level.
What?
Producer Dave?
What?
That's it for you, buddy.
Me? Huh?
You're out. See ya.
Well, I guess
Thanks
I
for
gotta go
coming.
bury this baby.
Yeah, you should. Do that.
Child's Play.
Whoa, you, look good.
I could get used to this. Let's go!
A third Child's Play film was greenlit before the second was even released, leading to the third film being shat out less than 9 months after 2, and left series superstar Don Mancini feeling out of ideas, and ended up being his least favorite of the series.
And in turn, Brad Dourif has said it's also his least favorite movie in the franchise, telling the story of Andy as he's shipped off to military school because of his life being nothing more than a big ball of trauma. And in turn, the Chuckster ends up there and stuff happens.
So let's jump right into this third installment and see if this drastic tone and location shift makes for a misunderstood classic or is a weird, boring mess.
This is Child's Play.
What are you doing?
I always wanted to do that.
Oh, go right ahead.
Thank you. This is Child's Play 3.
So the film begins with your normal, everyday, abandoned doll factory cleanout, where we see Chucky's mangled corpse being lifted on an extreme claw machine.
This melted garbage pail kid here is drug across a giant vat of plastic, dripping his blood into it.
Why did they make a new batch of plastic before they even finished cleaning out the place? Or is this the same uninterrupted batch from 8 years ago? Did they just not put a lid on it or something?
Why is there a giant claw moving a bloodied piece of melted toy across the room?
Touché.
We then have an awesome opening credit sequence where we see either Chucky being reborn or soft serve ice cream being made.
Regardless of this happening in some black void of nothingness, it does look awesome.
We pop into a board meeting where we see Sullivan, played by the late Peter Haskell, is trying to once again throw the good guy doll out to the world. Oh, and also to remind us Alex Vincent isn't coming back.
You would think after 2 recorded incidents, one of which taking place and ending in their factory, it'd be pretty easy to understand why they shouldn't be selling them anymore.
This makes the business moguls in RoboCop seem like they have the moral high ground.
Later that evening, while at Sullivan's apartment, we see him not only show Ebenezer Scrooge levels of passive aggression,
Fine.
but also the fact that he lives in the boss baby's paradise.
Plus we get a nice visual cue that our old pal Chuckster has left the womb.
So does the company that produces the Good Guy dolls also sell model trains, robots, Pennywise knockoffs, and Ferris wheels on acid? Because if so, I want the Good Guy doll toy line cinematic universe.
The GGDTLCU for short.
We see a golf club mysteriously be placed behind him, and as he almost drops it in this wide shot, he then just starts playing. Thankfully, it does perfectly replicate what made the first 2 Child's Play movies great, subtle moments of Chucky building up suspense. It's neat.
He's then given a classic middle school prank and attacked by more of Sid's mangled toys. Maybe if your grown-ass didn't have a bunch of flashing, talking toys in your apartment, you wouldn't be open to these kinds of fake-outs.
But it does allow for more Good Guy dolls to interact with one another, but I wonder which one is the real Chucky. Oh, it was the third doll. Cool.
Don't fuck with the Chuck.
But does give him ample time to play Pin the Tail on the CEO and lets him live up to his name as the Lakeshore Strangler and, kills him with a yo-yo. That's a sentence I didn't think I'd say today.
I never learned that trick. I was best at hitting myself in the face.
After that, we see him look up Andy on the same database the T-1000 did, and never really explains how this business CEO has a perfect up-to-date file on Andy. But giving this movie the benefit of the doubt, he might have had it because he is involved with the company's decline, but I highly fucking doubt it. Instead, we bounce over to Kent Academy. Heh, kinda sounds like...
Oh, Luke, you're better than that.
But we do see our newly recast Andy, played by Justin Whalin, who is continuing his life of sadness and disappointment, while still rocking a mullet to challenge Kiefer Sutherland.
Plus we meet Sergeant Botnick, played by Andrew Robinson, who might be the only guy in history to get off by cutting kids' hair.
Presto, you're bald.
That's not bald. That's not even really a buzz cut. Whatever.
Hey, man, I was a little confused as to what you were reviewing with Luke here.
This.
Presto, you're bald.
Shit!
Hopefully this guy is at least a little more sane than his other roles.
Jesus wept.
And slit their throat.
Nope, he might even be crazier. So Andy gets another well-styled, perfect haircut because the actors probably didn't want to go full Metal Jacket.
Thankfully, we get out of there and instead find a redhead tied up in a closet, who turns out to be Whitehurst, played by Dean Jacobson.
He explains that Shelton, played by Travis Fiennes, is a total douche and is trying his best to stand up to the likes of the legendary Hartman, or hell, even the lesser Howell, but manages to be...
Why don't you drop and give me 25 right now?
Nowhere near as threatening as anyone.
He's even upstaged by De Silva, played by Perrey Reeves, who shows him who's the best Rocky impersonator.
While inside, we meet Tyler, played by Jeremy Sylvers, who's just the most adorable little soldier, and is coincidentally given the good guy doll in hopes of it being given to Andy, but of course it is instead torn, and the little kid snatches it up for himself.
So Chucky does his birthday surprise too early, and reveals himself to Tyler instead.
Nice job, idiot.
It does show off some masterful puppeteering, however, and obviously doesn't transfer his soul. We still have an hour of movie left after all.
Instead, we get some classic PTDD as Andy goes full slow-mo on par with The Matrix, seeing Chucky from across the way.
But no time for that. Charles has to start killing people. So once he's thrown into the garbage truck, he screams for help, only for the sanitation worker to try and get him out.
Instead, he gets killed like Shredder in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Bummer, guy was just trying to help you. Ungrateful bastard. Night rolls around, and the human Muppet here asks if Andy received the package, only for the Chuckster to slice his leg and spout some one-liners.
You know what they say. You just can't keep a good guy down.
You're suave and clever, Chucky.
Hi, I'm Date Mike. Nice to meet me. How do you like your eggs in the morning?
And in one of the most terrifying rebuttals ever, Andy throws a shoe at him. Andrew here must be a huge Warwick Davis fan. But unfortunately, Chucky's more resilient, so Andy opts for a classic beatdown instead.
But to an outsider, it still looks like he's playing with dolls, and leads to Billy Zane and Doomhead's love child here to continue his douchebaggery and leave with Chucky.
Tyler, since he's still in the movie after all, leaves Charles a note starting up a game of hide and go fuck yourself, which irritates our little ginger boy. But he does his best Alfred Hitchcock impression, only for De Silva and company to find Tyler and give Chucky a mini makeover. But he doesn't like that very much.
This means war.
Haha, get it?
But enough of that, as Colonel Cochran, played by Dakin Matthews, pops in and...
Whoa. Did you say Colonel Cochran?
Huh?
I meant... Hey, he's got the same name as the bad guy in Halloween 3.
Yeah. Weird.
But Chucky pops out again, and looks like a fucking fun-sized freaky Frankenfurter, and gives the guy a heart attack.
Hey, what are you guys watching? Oh, hell no.
Wow, that's a big-ass knife, and the thing that got him was his heart sucking. Fantastic.
The next day, the Academy meets for a sad breakfast, or a morning meal, if you will, where we see Barber Boy find Chucky, who's just there, I guess, and tries to give the doll a fucking haircut. Because movie.
But this maniac loves his Tommy Wiseau locks in the real world, so he sure as shit doesn't want his doll fro to be tampered with, and slashes him with a straight razor for even considering it. He should have cut his hair completely bald just for the hell of it, and to show the audience what a real bald person actually looks like.
Because he clearly doesn't.
The war games will proceed as scheduled. Matthew Broderick and Ali Sheedy will be here shortly.
And since Charles is just trying to be the most evil 2-foot-tall bastard since Tickle Me Elmo, he replaces the red team's paint rounds with live ammo in a plan so diabolical, it makes Joker's mayor assassination attempt look stupid. Plus, he nearly silly strings himself in excitement while doing it.
Man, I really gotta get out of this body.
Newsflash, sport, you, won't. Ever.
But at least he'll eventually get laid.
Ew. Chucky tries getting Tyler's soul again.
Watch your mouth, Charles.
Stop calling me that!
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And he gives off a major T-800 vibe.
Sorry, kid, you got me. I'm bad.
He stabs him in the ketchup packet in his pocket, and they all eventually meet up to receive Chucky's bird. And the real ammo comes in handy and leads to Sheldon's karma catching up with him. Good. That guy was a prick.
And in the saddest thing in maybe the whole franchise, Whitehurst, in an act of sheer bravery and badassness, jumps onto the grenade to save the rest of the gang. Wow, I almost never feel bad for the victims in these movies, but that sucked.
We can't let his courage go without notice.
Exactly. Whitehurst, here's our salute to you, the only way we knew how. Confused Reviews style.
America, fuck yeah! Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah!
Tyler gets the fuck out of there and ends up at the same amusement park from Texas Chainsaw, and Chucky takes him hostage and forces him into the haunted mansion.
What theme park has such an odd, elaborate ride for a place that probably cost $5 and a blowjob to get into? Odd.
Wait, you only paid $5?
What?
Oh, nothing.
Chucky then gets sliced up because for whatever reason the ride has a real blade on it, which is super dangerous, but does lead to what I consider to be the coolest looking Chucky in the series. I would have much rather preferred if he stayed a toy version of Two-Face instead of looking like a goofy Hot Topic product, but it's not what we got.
Also, pretty sweet to see that his doll body has transformed so much that right below the surface is a fully fleshed face. Creepy.
Tyler is conveniently knocked out and manages to get really far along with the chant. Wonder if any of Chucky's soul was transferred there. Wouldn't mind seeing more of Tyler, having half of Charles's soul inside of him. Get crackin', Mancini.
But Andy figured he had too many hands, so he shoots one off, and after almost dropping Tyler into the most unnecessarily large, unguarded fan of all time, he cuts off Chucky's other hand and tosses him into it in the most Tremors-like way possible.
In the end, all seems fine, with Andy's very underdeveloped love being carted away like Officer Dewey, and who gathered up his shredded body to eventually be put into an evidence locker.
Bad screenwriting? Need for sequel? I don't know.
And we end it all with more of that awesome theme.
And that was Child's Play 3, and it is a lot better than it's made out to be.
The strongest thing in this movie to me is Chucky himself. His mannerisms, one-liners, and of course, amazing puppeteering makes it worth a watch for that alone.
He feels so lifelike and is in turn super creepy to watch, and leads to some of the best Chucky moments from the series. From scaring the guy so bad that he has a heart attack, to flipping off Sheldon's douchey self.
Plus, Andy being thrown into a new setting is a unique aspect, and better than trying to three-peat the suburban thing.
And at least he's not in fucking space.
Space!
As well as Whitehurst literally killing himself to save the rest of the group, which is really admirable and kinda too sweet for this movie.
But looking back on this movie, Tyler is really underdeveloped, and seems absent from most of the middle, as if they forgot to put the second lead in more of the movie.
Plus, Andy and De Silva's love thing feels super unnecessary and forced. This movie would have been just fine without it being there.
As well as a weird timeline and continuity fuck-ups, like Chucky just being there in the barber's cabinet, or the amusement park security guard having Chucky 5 seconds after he ran away.
But overall, this is nowhere near as bad as this, or that, and is a rare instance of changing up the established formula and making a fun, enjoyable sequel that has its flaws but is still really entertaining.
And even with some continuity errors, underutilized, or even pointless characters, it still is worth a watch.
And I'm going to give Child's Play meets Full Metal Jacket a B.
Plus. B+.
Sure, why not? Because it's got some cool deaths for both the characters and our titular villain, as well as keeping Andy interesting, but has a few
questionable things in it, but I still love it.
Me too. It's not fantastic, but certainly not the worst Chucky's ever given us. Thanks for tagging along, Cecil. This was fun.
Anytime, man. But hey, you want to see a magic trick?
Okay, Heath Ledger.
Presto, you're bald.
What the fuck?
All right, see you later, Luke.
Actually, that's kind of funny. I'm Confused Reviews. I'm gonna go shave Cecil's beard. Thanks for watching.
Hey, where's my cameo?
Gotta go.
Oh, motherfucker.
Well, it was the first horror movie I ever saw in the theater.
Well, it was at my 10th birthday party.
Plus, it's
completely fucking bizarre.
Yeah. Well, it was the first horror movie I ever saw in the theater.
At my birthday party.
Plus, it's,
completely ridiculous. Somebody say Child's Play 3?
Yeah, Luke's doing it.
Nice.
Well, I've got a lot to say about this one. Do you mind if I tag along? Well, it was the first horror movie I ever saw in the theater.
Well, it was my 10th birthday party.
Plus, it's,
completely fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Producer Dave gets it.
Yeah.